you know, by James, you know, that he couldn't, you know, put that record on.
We're brothers, and I was struggling so hard to keep, you know, it's like choking Jason. I love you.
The rising conflict between Newsted and Hetfield exploded during an argument over the Echo Brain project.
My dedication was being questioned.
It was like, you can't be part of what's going on in Metallica, and you can't stray outside of Metallica, so you're stuck.
The person I respect the most disrespected me the most.
That's how I was taught to control things, through intimidation and rage.
And it just hit me in the head like a brick and said, you have got to stand up for your principles. Now's the time.
I really love Jason. I respect him a lot as a friend and a musician. I felt like I lost a brother, and I still feel that way.
It felt like we were fragmented. We didn't feel like a band.
Ironically, James would be next to take leave of Metallica, with his enrollment in a rehab center for the treatment of alcohol abuse only months after Jason's departure.
It was just, look, right now, I'm not in Metallica. Leave me alone. I need to take care of myself. Trust me on this. Goodbye.
I was in shock. We didn't have James Hetfield, and we weren't sure if he would ever come back.
The Metallica train never slowed down long enough for anybody to take stock of the mental health of the individuals in the band. It was never considered. You had to hold on for dear life as this train was just going out of control to squash everybody in its way.
Was Metallica's 20-year ride coming to the end of the line?
There's some heavy emotions going on, especially the first couple of bits there. The Jason stuff and the rehab stuff is pretty touching for me.
Coming up, a high-octane performance by Avril Lavigne.
I'm gonna go get ready to perform.
And in Chapter 2 of the Metallica story, full metal drama when James Hetfield leaves the band to confront his demons.
I'm a friggin' addict, and I can take anything to extremes.
And later, performances by Snoop Dogg, Limp Bizkit, Korn, and Metallica. From Stained, please welcome Aaron Lewis and Mike Mushak.
So close, no matter how far. Couldn't be much more from the heart. Forever trust in who we are, and nothing else matters. I never opened myself this way. Life is ours, we live it our way. All these words I don't just say, and nothing else matters. Trust I seek and I find in you. Every day for something new. Open mind for a different view, and nothing else matters. Never cared for what they say, never gave the games they play, never cared for what they know, and I know. So close, no matter how far. Couldn't be much more from the heart. Forever trust in who we are, and nothing else matters.
left with nothing, all you do is speculate.
If Metallica ceased to exist, what would I do? Did I have enough things in my life that could fill that void?
We became masters of speculating ourselves into the darkest, blackest place possible.
Rehab was kind of like the last-ditch effort. If all else fails, that will work. And I was afraid to test that. What if it doesn't work?
James Hetfield was forced to confront his demons during a hunting trip in Russia.
I was in Siberia, in the middle of nowhere. We're in this chicken shack, 4 feet of snow with Russians, and they all have AK-47s and vodka. There was nothing to do for a week. Sit there and drink. It just felt like a coffin almost for me. Then when I came home, the behavior continued and it just spun out of control. It was ripping my family apart. There was some ultimatums, being thrown out of the house. It took that for me to realize what a problem it was and what I could lose with it.
As ever present as their hard-charging riffs and sold-out shows, alcohol dominated the Metallica landscape.
When I first met these guys, they were drinking vodka like water.
We're out of beer, pal.
Alcohol brought out everything that we needed to say to each other that we couldn't say while we were sober. And it became part of our legend. Because of that, I can't really recall most of the Kill 'Em All tour.
Summer 2001. Following 5 weeks in rehab, Hetfield was scheduled to join the band as they prepared to record the next album.
The day before we were gonna start right back up, he called up and said, look, I'm not ready to start back up.
I couldn't even walk into the room with those guys. I was so fearful of just slipping back into old patterns. I'm a friggin' addict and I can take anything to extremes.
Part of me wanted to just drive over and say, what can I do to help you as a friend, Metallica? But I didn't have the guts to do that. Then you kick yourself for not being aware of what the signs were, because of course there were clues planted.
There was lots of grieving from the past I wasn't done with, and just lots of childhood stuff. I'd come out a lot in the lyrics, more than I ever knew. I'd be writing about stuff I'd never tried, heroin or cocaine. There's no way I felt I had an addictive personality. I was pinning that tag on everyone else. Unforgiven. I could never forgive my parents for stuff. All of the problems in these lyrics, I go back now and read this stuff. It's like, oh my God, that's amazing.
Meanwhile, Lars and Kirk felt powerless. They could do little but wait and hope for the best.
He was supposed to go in for 8 weeks or so, maybe 12 weeks, but that turned out to be like 8 or 9 months.
Patience is not one of my stronger qualities, but it's been exercised a lot in the last year, so I'm somewhat better at dealing with it.
James Hetfield's recovery would tear down the old Metallica power structure. Now deprived of their longtime fuel of alcohol and internal conflict, could a renewed Metallica still burn with the same fire?